Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out GALA's price chart. And before we talk about what is happening in this specific area in like very short term, I need to change some waves in here because now, as you can see, we are absolutely having overlapping of the waves between this move down and also this one. And do not get me wrong, this structure is still able to fall into the category of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in form of an expanding leading diagonal. But the rule is this: if you are able to find some other possibilities, some bullish ones, I think you should do it, because having an expanding leading diagonal, let's say generally some sort of a leading or maybe an ending diagonal, is quite rare. So, let's not consider that if we are able to. And that's why I am going to now argue that we probably in this area in GALA had this. This can be ABC down, followed by that from this point to about here, we had an ABC in form of a flat, and then like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure. And on a higher degree, I'm gonna say now, a correction started in GALA from this point, and it's going to be in form of an ABC, running flat. Now, to around this point is going to be the end of our wave 2, and I'm going to now argue this was our wave 3, probably to about here, followed by a flat into wave 4, maybe to about here or here, not really that important, and then another 5 wave up into wave 5. The point that I'm trying to make is this: now, according to my primary scenario in GALA, from the lowest low to about the highest high, we have completed a 5 wave up, and the current move down that we are having, I'm really hoping that it's going to be a correction structure, and it's actually now going to be on the same degree as this 5 wave on the upside. And when you look at this structure from that perspective, I think it does actually make much more sense. Now, if this is happening, then okay, we are still 1000% bullish in GALA, because on a higher degree, what are we having? 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, and what's next? You know what? Massive move up into wave 3, 4, 5. So overall, I would still like to remain optimistic. Now, let's zoom in more and see what is happening. And the last time that we talked about GALA, I think we were right in here, and the idea was that because this move down seems like it is actually running out of momentum, we can say soon it's going to come to an end, and maybe even from this point we are going to get a decent move on the upside, and we need to pay full attention to the shape of it. What happened? Definitely not that scenario. Instead, we got another move down. However, the signs that we talked about in the previous update are still there. What do I mean by that? Let's go on H4 time frame. Okay, so as you can see, we talked about the possibility of having a bullish divergence between the price chart and MACD, and this is still there. You see, this is a low on MACD. The other one, by a decent margin, is still a higher low. So this is indeed a bullish divergence, and the fact that recently we got a buy signal in MACD in H4 time frame is, in my view, a very optimistic sign. Also, in terms of values waves, I still believe this is a slow and choppy move down. Now, I'm going to say maybe it's going to be like this from here to about, let's say, this point, and a correction for wave B, another move down into our C leg, and you can still argue this is a WXY in form of a double zigzag. However, just like we talked about in the previous update, right now it's not time to be 100% bullish in GALA. No, I think we should just simply wait a little bit longer and see a very strong bounce back, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure, and at that point, okay, you are going to see me being a bit more optimistic in GALA. However, you are still not going to see me calling for a buy opportunity right around the highs. Why? Because even according to the most bullish case, after a 5 wave up, what are we going to have? Yep, you guessed it right, a move on the downside. And then, okay, assuming that in here we identify all the right subwaves, and also this move is going to be a very slow and choppy one, which is what one very important characteristic of a corrective movement. Fair enough, this is going to be a decent long opportunity in hope that we get yet another strong move on the upside. So the bullish signs that we talked about are still there. I think in GALA now, we have to say this is a complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, meaning we are still looking optimistic, and we are going to go with this scenario as long as we are not proven otherwise. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in GALA. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.